What if everyone on Earth jumped at the same time? You're standing on a rooftop. It's quiet. The city below you is alive, but you can't hear it right now because something strange just happened. The ground moved. Not like an earthquake. Not like a truck rolling by. Something bigger. Something that had no name until right now. 8 billion people just left the ground at the same time. And you felt it. Here's the thing about moments that sound impossible. They're usually not. They're just questions nobody thought to ask seriously. So let's ask this one seriously. What would actually happen if every single human being on this planet, all 8 billion of us, agreed to jump at exactly the same moment? What would the Earth feel? What would we feel? And would anything ever be the same afterward? The answer is both more and less dramatic than you'd expect, and that tension is exactly what makes it worth understanding. First, let's deal with the scale. 8 billion people. If you tried to count to 8 billion out loud, one number per second, it would take you over 250 years. That's not a crowd, that's a civilization. And if every single one of those people stood shoulder to shoulder, you could fit all of humanity into the state of Rhode Island with room to spare. We are on a planetary scale, almost nothing. And that matters because it's the first clue about what happens when we all jump. The average human being weighs around 60 to 70 kilograms. Multiply that by 8 billion and you get something in the range of 450 billion kilograms of combined mass launching itself upward. That sounds enormous until you remember what it's being compared to. Earth weighs 6 septillion kilograms. That's a 6 followed by 24 zeros. The ratio of all of humanity to the Earth is roughly the same as a mosquito landing on a cruise ship. The ship doesn't notice, but you'd notice. Imagine for a moment that you're there. You're standing on the street or in a field or on the shore of a beach somewhere, and the countdown has reached 0. You bend your knees, you push off, and for one single second, you're weightless. Everyone around you is weightless too. 8 billion bodies floating upward in a shared breath of defiance against gravity. There is no word for this in any language yet. It would need a new one, and then everyone comes back down. This is where it gets interesting. When every human on Earth lands, all that energy has to go somewhere. It doesn't vanish. Newton made sure of that. The force of 8 billion people hitting the ground simultaneously would release an enormous amount of energy. Scientists have estimated it would register as a minor seismic event roughly equivalent to a small earthquake. Not the end of the world, not even close. More like the Earth clearing its throat, a tiny, almost polite acknowledgement that something just happened. Some places would feel it more than others. If everyone were concentrated in one spot, which remember they wouldn't be, the effect would be far more dramatic. But humanity is spread out. We live on coastlines and mountains and deserts and rainforests across 6 of the 7 continents. All that energy would be distributed, absorbed and dispersed by the planet the way an ocean absorbs a stone. You'd throw the stone, you'd see the ripples, and then the ocean would go back to being the ocean. So in the end, the Earth wouldn't break. It wouldn't crack or wobble on its axis or shift in any meaningful way. Our best instruments might catch the tremor, the numbers would spike, and then they'd settle. Nothing on the surface would change except one thing, and it's the thing no physics equation can actually measure. For that 1 second, every human being alive would share exactly the same experience. Think about what that means. In all of recorded history, there has never been a moment when everyone on Earth did the same thing simultaneously. Wars divided us. Celebrations happened in different time zones. Even things we consider universal, sleep, hunger, grief, don't happen to all of us in the same second. But a jump would. A single chosen deliberate act of synchronized humanity, one collective heartbeat, all 8 billion of us leaving the ground together, and all 8 billion of us landing in the same breath. That's not physics, that's something else entirely. And maybe that's the real answer to the question, because the question was never really about what happens to the Earth. The Earth would be fine. The Earth is always fine. The question underneath the question is about us. About whether 8 billion strangers separated by oceans and languages and centuries of division could ever do anything at the same moment on the same signal, for no reason other than to find out what it felt like to be one thing. The ground would hold, it always does, but something in us might not be the same.